Kefine is back and they're pushing boundaries for budget IEM, not only under 100 US dollar, but for under 50 US dollar. And we are looking here at Kefine Klean, priced at 44 US dollar. So let's see if this thing can be a game changer or market disruptor for budget IEM 2024. $44 US, Kefine Klean. You're gonna get this carrying case here, and of course the IEM itself. So let's just have a look at this IEM here. Super impressive from Kefine, entirely made of metal. I do not expect this kind of quality from a $50 US, under $50 US IEM, honestly. Detachable tuning nozzle. See that? And you are being given two types. One, the black, and the other one, the silver. They offer different sort of sound tuning, which I will talk a bit more later. And of course this nice looking, premium looking, silver plated copper cable. Impressive from Kefine. They're really pushing boundaries for budget IEM. For an all metal IEM, the comfort is quite good actually, surprisingly, because the ergonomics is like, very well designed. And I think the seal factor is fairly okay as well. I am still hearing quite a bit of ambient noises, but I think it is very acceptable. Kefine Klean, 10mm dynamic driver, 32 ohm of impedance, and 107 dB of sensitivity. We are talking about an IEM which is easy to drive, and true indeed. When I connect it for the first time using my phone here, which is Sony Xperia 1 Mark IV, I was already hearing the kind of sound which I would consider as wholesome. But of course, just like many other very well-tuned dynamic driver, it scales really well with power, especially when I attach it to my iBasso DX260 here. And it also depends on which tuning nozzle you choose to use. For example, this Kefine Klean here comes stock with the silver tuning nozzle, which is designated as natural, warm sounding tuning nozzle, which to me sounded like being analog, organic, and natural sounding. However, if you do need for something which is a bit more analytical, especially in the upper frequency, a bit more of resolution with the upper mid-range all the way to treble, a bit more of energy, a bit more of sparkle, then just simply switch over to the black tuning nozzle. Even from the get-go, I was already surprised by this Kefine Klean here, because for something which is priced well under $50 US, I do not expect it to perform like a $100 US IEM. With so many budget IEM released, especially this year, anything from Kefine very own Del C and Del C AE, which is priced under $100 US. And of course, there's a some from SIMGOT, especially starting with the EA500LM and also the EW300 series. This thing is really disrupting the market, because from this point onward, it will be very difficult for me to justify, seriously, I'm just being very open here, to justify buying those IEM, which cost more than $50 US, but yet we have something like this Kefine Klean here performing similarly to that level. The resolution, the imaging, the macro and the micro detail of this Kefine Klean here is just simply clean sounding. It resolves very well some of the layering, some of the separation of intricate, even complex sound. And the way it behaves with the dynamic transient itself is just illegal. The balance of the sound itself, from the way it presents the dynamic range, upper frequency, mid-range, all the way to the lower frequency, I am hearing even something which I would consider as very well extended in the upper frequency. I am hearing the kind of decays, treble decays, micro details of the treble decays, which is not something I would expect from a $50 IEM. And then when it comes to the lower frequency, we are talking about well-balanced mid-bass and sub-bass. There's no prominence of mid-bass or even sub-bass. Mid-bass itself doesn't attempt to overwhelm the lower mid-range. And overall, the mid-range itself sounded transparent using the silver nozzle, which is supposed to be warm, but it does sound organic and natural. And it is accurate enough to a point that I was able to use it with classical music, technical jazz, and percussion. And in fact, it is also super suitable, super versatile to handle anything from electronic music, jazz, reggae, you name it. This Klean is just simply cleanly versatile. When it comes to soundstage and spatial projection, this Kefine Klean here does appear to be a bit more traditional with the way it presents the soundstage itself. So it is not exactly holographic, which means that it is not so suitable for gaming or even for binaural type of music, but at least it is suitable for movie watching. And the soundstage itself being wide and open and a bit more on the traditional stereo type of presentation, which means that you're going to be hearing a bit more on the left and on the right kind of sound presentation. Is it a market disruptor? Absolutely yes. For anything under $50, I do not think you can find anything better than this Kefine Klean, because you can choose to buy the tons of KZ IEM out there, which is priced as low as $5, but you cannot expect similar kind of build quality and packaging like this Kefine Klean here. And not forgetting, on top of that, the kind of sound and performance which is equivalent to $100 IEM, competing even with Kefine very own Del C AE or even Del C or even SIMGOT EW300 or EA500LM. To me, that is mind-boggling. That is borderline illegal. Would I recommend it? Yes, absolutely. From this point onward, it would be very difficult for me to recommend something like even Kefine very own Del C AE. I do believe that this Klean here defies logic. If you like what you're hearing, what you're seeing, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. And also please take a moment to click like here. It will really help me out. It is free, by the way. And also please follow me on Instagram, which I have set up very recently. My Instagram will be a platform for me to provide quick updates on the things that I do beyond this video. And again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart.